The first picture we see is Town Gate. Here we see a steam engine being towed along Rising Bridge Road before being broken up. Mergin's Bar, just below Alexandra Terrace, was built in 1810 when the turnpike road was made through Grain to Blackburn. The large board on the front of the building originally listed the tolls. This photograph was taken in about 1890. The boys are sitting on one of the uprooted gateposts. The toll bar house was at the junction of Manchester Road and Bury Road. It was demolished in July 1924, soon after this photograph was taken. Cottages near Sykeside Mill were originally the home of Henry Haworth, a pioneer of Methodism. The building, Appletree Hall, was the first in the town to be licensed for the nonconformist worship. The date stone 1764 is now in the mill wall facing Broadway. Firemen from many parts of Lancashire during a rally of Marsden Square in 1898. July 1893, a double fatality occurred at a small weaving shed. The site was the original site of the Haslingden gasworks. This happened at about 10 minutes to 9 in the morning, when the mill was stopped and fewer people than usual were in the part of the building that was affected. Some, however, were employed in cleaning up. Two of these, Rachel Ellen Birtwistle and Haworth Olden, both 15 years of age, were found to be missing when the roll was called. Their bodies were found in the tank. To the left we see the new technical school, and on the right Ebenezer Baptist Church. Bury Road at the beginning of the century. We're looking at Spring Gardens, which was next to Beaconsfield Street, a cooperative society procession. The tractor you see is pulling a boiler for a grain mill. It shows it outside the municipal offices in 1907. Here we see the fire brigade in Haslingden. The circus comes to town in the 1950s. On the opposite corner of Chapel Street was the New Inn, now the Thorn Hotel. The drawing was made during the early part of the 19th century, when the inn was a stopping place for stagecoaches. During the loom breaking of 1826, rioters were imprisoned in the inn, but were released after a mob had threatened to attack. Here we see Mr. Ralph with his first horse and cart. He moved to Chapel Street in 1911. For more than 60 years, the firm of Luke Ralph and Sons, sheet metal workers, operated from premises in Chapel Street, close to the junction with Bury Road. This photograph was taken of the motor lorry was in 1936. The rollers on the back were beginning a journey to Canada, where they were used for supporting felts during examination at the Hamilton Mill of Porrit's and Spencer's. We now see Chapel House in Chapel Street. Was one of the most attractive buildings in the old part of Haslingden. It survived until 1979 and ought not to have been demolished. In the middle of the 19th century, the building housed the Haslingden Academy, the prospectus for which is on the left. Hutch Bank Quarry. Hutch Bank was once a busy part of Haslingden, with mills at the foot of the slope. houses on the side and an extensive quarry on top. The picture above includes the Dryers Arms, better known as the Flip. Hutch Quarry had its own narrow gauge railway. One of the locomotives was called Ant, which could haul 6 wagons. It was built in 1861, came to Haslingden in 1879 and was scrapped in 1924. This photograph was taken in 1910. Here we have a train approaching Haslingden from Graham Road.